So Heather, do check out our newly rolled out SAP FICO course where we have covered end-to-end training of finance and controlling module. So, behind making of this course, our main objective was to make our student understand the why behind every step or every configuration that we do in the system. So keeping that in mind, each of our lecture curated in order to make the student understand why we do certain steps in the system and what impact it makes on the end side of the SAP. So if you are interested in the course or opting out for the course, you can check out our website erpcollege.co. If you go on the website, you can go into the section SAP FICO course where you can opt for each and individual module separately, or you can even opt for the entire SAP FICO training as well. Inside, you will see the detailed description of the course of the each module, and if you want to check out the course contents, you can just click here and download the content menu. It is total of 35 hours plus downloadable content, 35 lectures, and videos are accessible to download from the any of the device, right? So few of the descriptions you can check in here. If you are interested in opting out for any specific module, you can go ahead and purchase that module course. You will be able to download a PDF where you can access all of the training material and videos.
So like today we'll see the financial statement version, and we will in this we will see how we can create a profit and loss statement and balance sheet in SAP system, right? So all these days, whatever we are doing, like we have configured various modules in order for end users to post various transactions in the system, right? Whether it is normal journal entries or like miscellaneous journal entries or accounts payable related transactions like vendor invoices, vendor payment, vendor advance, customer payment, customer advance related to accounts receivable, right? All these things that all those submodules of like asset accounting, like acquisition of asset and all those things. So all these we configured so that user can use those modules and post different business process related transactions into SAP system. At the end, like posting various kinds of journal entries in the system in our GL accounts. So why we did all of this? In order to extract the or draw down the reports at the end of the year or at the end of the period to know the profitability or the balance sheet position of the company, right? So whatever we did so far is in order to like take out the report from the system, basically the balance sheet and profit and loss. So at the very like beginning of the class itself, we talked about this, that the finance module and controlling module, these are like two separate modules in SAP. So finance module is something that we use in order for the external reporting purpose. When we say external reporting, that means uh, the reports that we draw down to submit to the government, right? So balance sheet and profit and loss is the requirement of government, right? Government every year end, government asks us to submit, create the balance sheet and profit and loss of your company and submit it to government and pay taxes on the whatever profit you might be generating, right? So this is the requirement of government, and for creating balance sheet or profit and loss, there are certain rules that are like defined by the government, by the laws, right? We discuss about that also, like the percentage of GST government will decide, the percentage of depreciation we should charge government will decide. Even in the balance sheet items, how the items should be lined up, that is also defined by the government, right? In advance payment scenario, we saw that we have to show loans and advances separately apart from our regular uh, balances of customer and vendors. So uh, all those things that in finance module we will be doing is for the external reporting, for the government reporting. Just because government is asking us to draw profit and loss and balance sheet and submit it to us. So for that purpose, we are doing all of this thing. And now finally, the most important part is to draw down the reports like the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet. So that we will see how we can do that. And when it comes to controlling module, controlling area is something related to the internal reporting. So like after this topic, we are going to start with the controlling area. But for now, like today, we will see how we can then draw down the profit and loss and balance sheet in the SAP system. So before that, we need to know like how the profit and loss and balance sheet looks like. So we'll just say FSV. It is often called as FSV in SAP terms. So FSV stands for financial statement versions, right? Financial statements. So profit and loss and balance sheet is nothing but our financial statements. source financial statement version. So FSV will be known as financial, stands for financial statement version. And now we will see how we can, so profit and loss, and then balance sheet, right? So in our like head, how we draw the financial statements of profit and loss and balance sheet, even from our like graduation time or in our BCom or anywhere, uh, even 11th and 12th, we have been taught like balance sheet and profit and loss statement should be drawn like uh, I guess vertically, right? From like up to down, right? Like this. So we will have this side as a debit side and this side as a credit side, right? And for balance sheet also, we will have left hand side as liability side and this side as asset side. So this format of balance sheet is called as T format. It is called as T format because it, the shape of it looks like T, right? You'll just border it, right? Border and top border, right? So this is how we used to see the balance sheet and profit and loss, right? This is how we prepared even in our college duration or even when we are right. So this is like credit side, this is debit side, and here we will be assigning different things. So whatever will go under profit and loss debit side, like maybe something like trading account or something like that, right? P&L, like debit side will be all our expenses, purchase, right? And then credit side we will be having sales or closing stock or other receivables, anything, right, which is in basically profit to the company. Liability side we will have our capital, loans, right? uh, and other liabilities like accounts payable and all. Asset side we will have our fixed asset, tangible asset, intangible asset, and cash and all those stuff, right? So this is how the balance sheet we have drawn so far. But in big organizations or even in SAP, this team statements are not supported. Instead, we will be drawing balance sheet like horizontally. So we'll just take a look at even in big companies like those who publish their reports, and we'll just see Asian Paints balance sheet, right? This the stock, basically the stock market listed companies, all these big companies, if you have ever seen their balance sheet and profit and loss statements, it will never be in the like T format. Okay, it will always be like this. I will just try to open one of these. See if you can see this balance sheet, right? So how this is actually a balance sheet. Okay, how they have drawn it, instead of making it as a T kind of statement, they have made it as like on the top they have mentioned as like assets on the top and then equities and liabilities on the below, and then they have mentioned each of the assets or the heading of the assets, and under that heading the subheading of the other assets and all those things, right? So this is how we have also need to create the balance sheet and profit and loss, both the things in the SAP system, right? If you see equities and liabilities, how they have done, like they have one section for equity. Under that, they have equities lied as other equity, equity share capital, non-controlling interest, and all those things. And then other liabilities, they have mentioned as non-current liabilities, current liabilities, and under that they might be having different subheadings, and they have assigned the subtotals on the each of the heading level, right? So for equity, they will be having this subtotal here. For liabilities, they will be having, right? And at the end, the total assets and total liabilities, total equity and liabilities, they will be showing, right? So instead of going like this, if we have to go here like that, we will be showing equity like this, right? And below equity we will be having different things, and then we will be having like liabilities, other liabilities here, right? Under liabilities we will be having like secured loans, non-secured loans, right? So instead of this format, we just made it as a horizontal format where we will say This is my balance sheet, and on the top I will have like assets. Here I will like write down all of my assets under heading, subheading, all those things. And here I will say this is my equity and liability side. Equity and liability. And here I will write down all the my equities and liabilities, and here I will do total asset, and here I will do total liability. Right. And in this case, what will happen? We will have total here, right? We will have one total here, right? Something like 100 rupees. And in this case, here we will have total 100. And once these two totals match, we will say like our balance sheet is complete. We have liabilities of 100, assets of 100. So in this case, we will have total here, right? Written down as something like this. So there is nothing, no major difference. Just like one is drawn as vertically, one is drawn as horizontally. So under asset, we might say then some one heading we can create as fixed asset, and under this fixed asset we might write down something like furniture and building, something like that. Then we might have like non-fixed asset or tangible asset, something like that, where we might under this heading we might say or goodwill or something like that, copyrights or mm, trademarks, right? Then we might have cash, right? We might have advances, right? This kind of different things we will have, which we will like write down all the amounts here, and finally we will come to the total of all those things, right? Even same goes for equity and liability. We might write here as our equity capital, right? Here we might say unsecured loans, might say accounts payable, right? In asset side, we have to write as accounts receivable also as one node. In accounts payable, what else will come, like secured loans, right? All those things will come under equity and liability, right? Let's mark this, and this is bold, right? So this is how we need to create a balance sheet, and same goes for profit and loss statement. Right? Profit and loss statement, right? In profit and loss statement, we will have mm, like what we call as like expenses and losses will go on to our debit side. So one side we will have as expenses and losses, right? And the other side we will have as income and gains, right? Here we will have the total of our expenses losses, and here we will have total of our income and gains, right? In expenses losses we will be having accounts like something like purchase account, right? Here whatever like expenses we are doing like salary, wages, or whatever it is, right? Commission, rent, interest, whatever expenses our company is occurring, all those accounts will fall under this side of the balance sheet, sorry, this side of the profit and loss. And in income and gains we will be having accounts like sales account, like if we are receiving any kinds of commission or interest or rent, right? As part of income we can write that as well, right? Then it will also have a closing stock on this side. So this is how the our P&L we will create. In case of T format, these things we will write down on the debit side. These things we will write down on the credit side, and we will do the same thing, right? So this is how we are going to create our financial statement version in the SAP. So how we can create it, that we'll see now. So far you're clear with this thing, right? It just simply like how we have to create. We discuss that. Okay, fine. So we'll just jump into SAP, right? We'll try to find the path for this. Financial accounting, general ledger accounting, information system. Okay, let it be. We'll go by transaction code. So transaction code for this is OB58. In OB58 transaction, we'll be defining our financial statement versions, right? So this is the financial statement versions transaction code, in which SAP will have provided the standard versions of statements for each country. Okay, so you can see for Spain, Finland, Greece, Hungary. So this is a financial statement version for India, right? So they have provided the standard versions, like standard formats. If you want to use, we can use. So if you just double click on it, it will like show us the name of our financial statement version, then the language, in which language we have created it, then the chart of account. Like chart of account means from which chart of account we should assign the GLs into this financial statement version, right? And then we have to click on this financial statement items, right? Once we click on the financial statement items, so basically this is what they have created for us. Okay, so they have one thing as a asset, other thing as equities and liabilities, and then they have created one income, one expenditure side. Okay, so it's totally, it will not be that attractive as we might imagine. So this is how basically the balance sheet and profit and loss looks like in SAP. So you can see they have already given us these nodes like net fixed asset, capital WIP, investment, net current asset, miscellaneous, right? If we expand it further, we can see like fixed asset gross, accumulated depreciation. They have already given us all these things. So they have again created one folder as land. Under land, they have like assigned these kind of GL accounts into this. Okay, like this freehold land, leasehold land, right? Buildings as this. So we here we will just be creating these nodes and assigning GLs to these nodes. So and then when we will go into the final report and run this report, system will start showing balances by grouping these kind of nodes. Okay, so your system will show us like under fixed asset gross, system will show us all the balances of all these different assets and nodes under which these GLs we have assigned, right? So system will calculate the balance of all these things and show us on here. If we further expand it, we could be able to see the individual asset balance or individual GL balance also, right? So okay, it's fine. So this is how we have it available to us, but we will try to create one thing from the scratch, so we'll understand it in more better way, right? So we will just click on the new entries. Okay, just click on the new entries, and here we will give the name to our financial statement version as SW01. We will say FSV for SW01 company. The language in which we want to maintain is English. Item keys automatically or manually, we have to select. We'll say manually. So what is this? We'll talk about it. Then we'll say chart of accounts, or let's say it's automatically only. Chart of account, our chart of account is IKS. Okay, let's check only slash o OBY6. So what chart of account is assigned to our company code, that we have to see. So chart of account assigned is AS16. Okay, fine. So we'll use AS16 chart of account, and here we will say financial statement items. Data change, save, yes, right. So this thing system has now like given us as a template, like they have just assigned some of the things like liabilities, asset, but nothing is under this. Just a few nodes system has created for us, right? So now what we need to do, we need to make sure what nodes we want to do. Okay, so on the top we will be having first node is as asset, second node is as equity and liability. Okay, so first asset node is there, so we just double click on this to assign the text to the items. So we will say here as assets only. Start of the group, we will say system to show me as asset. End of the group, we will say show as total asset. And we have to clear like display total, which means what the system has to do is that whatever items I will assign under this section, system has to total all the amounts in all of these nodes and show me at this header level or end of the report, end of the these things I said. So system should show me like this the total assets, right? So I'll just click here like this. For liabilities also, liabilities and equities also we need same, and equities. Here we need to give total liabilities and equities. Just press enter, right? Liability, equity, assets. Then okay, first let's complete the balance sheet only, right? So now we will go with the asset side. So under asset, we said we will need nodes like fixed asset, non-fixed asset, and then we will say cash and advances. Like that, three nodes we will create. So what we have to do, we have to click here and we have to say create items. Under create items, under asset. So if we want to create on the same level, we will write here. But we want to create under asset. These three items we need to create. So the first is fixed asset. The next is non-fixed asset, and next is cash and advance. Or instead we will create it as separate only, cash and bank. We will need one more as cash and bank, and then we need advances, right? So this advances we have to send it down. What is this? A reassign. Okay, so select it, click here, maybe reassign, same level. Mm, I think the nodes might have gone. We didn't save it. Financial statement items. Okay. We didn't save those things. We'll just quickly write it down. Liabilities and equities and total liabilities and equities. For asset, we'll just have to keep saving it. And under asset, we decided to create subnodes. So we'll create items, and one is our fixed asset, one is our non-fixed asset, cash and bank. Next is advances, right? Like this, different nodes we have to create under this. And under this, we don't need further nodes. We decided to directly assign the GLs of fixed asset under fixed asset, GLs of non-fixed asset under non-fixed, and cash and advance GL to these nodes. So how we can do that? First of all, in order to do that, we need to open our GL accounts list in the FS00, right? So for SW01, we have the GLs in asset side, we have the GLs in expenditure, and we have the GLs in liability like this. So in asset, the cash account is 2, machinery is 3, offsetting account customer, offsetting account for customer we have, okay, AUC building we have, and building we have. So in fixed asset, we have to click on the fixed asset and click on the assign accounts in order to assign GL accounts. And here we need to mention like machinery is 3, 5, and 6. These three are, so 3, 3. And here these signs are like debit and credit, means whether the GL account is in debit balance or credit balance. In any case, we should show the balance under fixed asset. 3, 5, and 6. So if we press continue, here we can see. So right now we have assigned these 3 GLs under this fixed asset node. So whenever we run our balance sheet, system will always going to show the balances of these 3 GLs under this node, and this node will further go under assets. So the balances will be calculated and show subtotal will be shown on the fixed asset level, and then again this total will go and add up into the assets, right? So in non-fixed asset, we don't have anything to assign. In cash and bank, we have one GL for cash account. So we'll just, oh, we don't have to create item, but instead we have to assign the cash account is our 2. Oh, it's again stuck. I guess again we didn't save anything. Hmm. We have to do assign accounts. 3, 5, 6. This advances node, we would like to get it down. So we'll just try to do that. Reassign on the same level. Right, it went down now. Right. Similarly, we'll take our asset and balance sheets on the top. We'll select here and we'll say go on the top, the same level. Right. This also will select. We'll say reassign. Select reassign. This one we have to send it down. Right. So we are doing the asset. Under asset, we have assigned the fixed asset, all the GLs under the fixed asset now. In non-fixed asset, we don't have anything. In cash and bank, we have account. So in cash and bank account, we'll just not create items, but create assign accounts. And 2 is our GL account for cash. So here we can see cash account got assigned under this node. And then for advances, I think we don't have anything here in this system, right? Only the offsetting account for customer. So for customer, we'll need one create items, which will be our accounts receivable. So again, this node, we will send it down, assign down to the advances. And here we will assign it one GL account, which is offsetting account that we have created is 4. Right. So this is how like we assigned all our fixed asset and this things. So asset is complete. Now we have to, okay, here also on this level also we can ask system to display total. We'll say subtotal of fixed asset. Here we'll say subtotal of cash and bank account. Cash and bank account. Account receivable, we'll say subtotal of accounts receivable, right? And then we will create one on the liability side. We have to create some accounts. So liability side, we have equities, then we will have unsecured loans. We have to add more. And so after unsecured loans, we will having accounts payable. We'll have one as other. We'll have one as maybe secured loans. So first of all, we have to make sure equity should be on top. Let's save it. Right, so equity on top, then other things are there. We will just have a look at our GL account, so we will have an idea what to create. So GST, okay, this taxes accounts we will be going under accounts payable because taxes we have to pay to the government, so it's kind of a accounts payable thing. So mostly we just have a taxes, and of second account will also go to accounts payable only. So everything will go to accounts payable only. So under accounts payable, we'll create item, not create item. We have to assign accounts now, and everything is going under accounts payable. So we'll say from 200 to 206. So instead of mentioning it separately, we'll just say 200 to 206. All the items should go under this. So here the system has just created one folder. If we expand it, it will show us all the GLs got assigned to it, right? And here we will say show us the subtotal of accounts payable, right? Here we will say accounts payable. The start we will say equities. This is like other unsecured loans, right? So our balance sheet liability side is done. In fixed asset, have we assigned the start asset now? So why we have to do this start of the group, end of the group, that we will see once we execute this balance sheet. So we'll just save it. Right. We have saved it, right. Now we will like instead of creating the profit and loss, like profit and loss also we have to do the same. Like maybe this is like loss and profit. Instead of that, we have to like change the naming of it. We can change the name of it, and we can just create one as profit, expenses and gains, expenses and losses, and income and gains, and then assign the different things there. So before that, will try to use this report, and we will try to fetch the balance sheet of our company. So we'll just open a new screen and we'll see how to run this financial statement version in our company code. We'll go to accounting, financial accounting, general ledger, and we have to go to information system. Like we have discussed this under information system only, we'll have all the reports. So we'll say financial statements, general, and here we'll click on this financial statement, actual comparison, or we could just go to financial actual comparison. Will be like it will be comparing with the last year to current year, and this is also the same. So what we have to do, we have to mention the in this report we have to mention the chart of account for which we want to run the report, and the for which company code. Okay, so our company code is SW01, and I think chart of account is RS16, right? We did not find any matches. Why do right on AS16, right? So it's AS16, and company code is SW01. So financial statement version is SW01, which we just created. So when we will say system, show the report to me in the financial statement version SW01, system will line up all the GLs of our company code and chart of account as per the alignment that we did here, right? As per the things we assigned here, system will just assign the line items, all the GLs of our company code and this, and then it will show us the report. So here we are saying the reporting year is 2023 first to 16 period, and comparison year is 22, means last year is the comparison year. We'll see how it happens. And we have different kinds of layouts like classical list or ALV grid or ALV tree control. So we'll see one by one. First we'll go with the classical list. Then we have one other tab called special evaluation, where we will have some different accounts, like some accounts we are posting in the foreign currency, so what translation should happen, all those things are there. In output control, we'll be telling system some scaling factor, comparison type, and a company code summarization, list separation request. Okay, so these are not useful, so we'll just execute the classical list report to see what and how system is showing us. So here we can see system has executed the balance sheet. First, system is showing us assets. Under assets, system is showing us fixed asset, and fixed asset, it has lined up that machinery account, building account have these two accounts only have the values. So this is like 10,000, 15,000, and total subtotal is coming as 25,000. Then under cash and bank, system is showing us as cash account, which is on a credit balance of 100 rupees. And here we can see the text that we have assigned, right? Subtotal of fixed asset, and system is giving us subtotal of fixed asset, subtotal of cash and bank account, subtotal of account receivable, and then we said total assets, right? So the text that we are maintaining in the start of the group, end of the group, those are appearing like this. And we have that in total we have the assets of 1,14,900, right? Similarly, if we go for the liability side, we will see that the accounts payable, in accounts payable we only have the balance in this account, which is offsetting account clearing, which is like 1,25,000, and subtotal of accounts payable, and that in total liabilities is just coming in 1,25,000. So there this is like, this should ideally match, but it's a difference, I guess, because we might have sent some of the balance to expense account, or the difference will go into the profit and loss account that we have not adjusted it, right? So if we go back, and now we will see the ALV grid control, how this thing look like. We'll just execute it. And it is not at all helpful. It doesn't, it is not showing us summarization everything. And it also showed us warning in at the start because of the same thing. So we'll go with the ALV tree control to see how the ALV tree control will look like. And ALV tree control is like little bit better. You can see it has shown everything in the folders, right? So basically we have total assets of 1,14,000, 1,25,000. If you want to drill down, you just have to open each folder, and you can see fixed asset is worth of 25,000, cash is worth of -100, account receivable is total of 19,000, 90,000. So if we expand this, it will further show us in which GL we are having this balance, right? You can just keep expanding it. It will show this balance is of SW01 and nothing further, right? So in fixed asset, if you have to drill down and see which accounts is having what balance, 10,000 from this, 15,000 from this, this is how it will look like. So this is the our asset side, and this is our liability side, which will be showing us accounts payable, right? 1,25,000. Similarly, we will be having P&L, and like in P&L, expenses side here, income side here, and the total of both the sides and reports of both the sides, right? So this is how the financial statements will look like in the SAP ECC environment, right? Which will be in the this format. And this is how actually all the companies publish their financial reports. You can go over Google and try to check the balance sheets or profit and loss of any big company. They will be reporting their result in these formats only. And so does the SAP also support the same format. But in like going forward newer versions, or in S4HANA, like they are providing the T versions of SAP financial statements also. But that will not be that much useful. So so far this is only the thing, right? So nothing will go separately in while creating the expenses and losses account or profit and loss account. We just have to keep creating nodes. There are some things here which we have to use, like we can move the nodes from up and down. We can also reassign these things to something else, right? If you want to transfer these advances from here into liabilities and equities, you can just click on this, and you have to say subordinate, means below liabilities and equities advances should go. If you press enter, you can see advances came down, right? If you want to send it back, and you want to, like, let's try this, like on the same level of cash and bank, we will say, and it went down, went here, right? So like you can move the nodes, you can like delete the nodes, you can even reassign the GLs, right? The GL is right now here, right? You can just reassign the GLs or remove the assignment from here to there, right? So this kind of requirements we will receive from the business, right? So right now this much is assigned here, right? Every time business will create new GL account, right? Every time they will create new GL account, or they will change something in the new GL, or they will have something new, they will come to us and ask that add the GL into fixed asset, or add the GL into maybe liability side or profit and loss side under advances, under account receivable, right? And this format will also be sent by the business only, right? It's not our concern to create the format, or how many nodes should be there, under what node what GL account should go. It everything will be the provided by the business, right? Business will say under asset we need 5 nodes, 10 nodes, 50 nodes, right? Under fixed asset they might say we need separate things like gross asset, accumulated asset, like that we said, or separate for land, building. Each folder should be separate. Under that folder, they might need further distribution or drill down, right? So all those things will be provided by business. Our job is to just know what and all functionalities are available in the system and what and all we can do with this financial statement version, right? So this is how it is. We can just click on this button to expand all the tree nodes and it will just expand everything, right? So this is how the balance sheet and profit and loss statements are created and then reported by the business. It's not like other ERP systems like Tally and all, where we will have by default a balance sheet and profit and loss available in the system, and we just have to check the reports. But in since SAP is like widely used in many organizations, so this is just kind of a flexibility that SAP has given to create your own balance sheet, create your own profit and loss however you want, and then just have the reports run based on your different financial statements, right? So I think that's all from the financial statement version point of view.